Imagine a world where the people we often call lazy are actually the ones shaping the future, creating shortcuts that save time, designing tools that make life easier, and finding smarter ways to succeed while others are busy struggling. What if laziness is not a weakness, but a hidden genius? Ladies and gentlemen, lazy people are often misunderstood. They are not always unproductive. Sometimes they discover smarter ways to achieve tasks with less effort. They may seem slow, but their creativity often turns struggle into innovation. Lazy minds search for shortcuts that surprisingly lead to brilliance, because sometimes ease creates efficiency and hidden strength. Laziness is often seen as a flaw, a weakness, or even a barrier to success. But if we observe closely, it can also be a different kind of strength. Many people assume that lazy individuals lack ambition or drive, but in reality, laziness sometimes inspires a person to find smarter and more efficient ways of doing things. When someone is not willing to put in unnecessary effort, they naturally search for shortcuts, strategies, and systems that save time and energy. This mindset may appear like avoidance of work, but in truth, it can lead to discovering techniques that others may never think about. It is through this desire to minimize effort that creativity is born, because the mind begins to explore alternative routes, unconventional methods, and innovative solutions. For example, when a lazy student refuses to spend long hours memorizing notes, they may design a clever way to simplify the material, turning pages of text into diagrams or short summaries that make studying easier. While others may work harder, the so-called lazy one works smarter. This same principle applies in workplaces too, where some of the most groundbreaking tools, apps, and systems have been invented simply because someone did not want to waste time on repetitive tasks. Instead of struggling, they created something that not only helped them, but also transformed efficiency for everyone around them. What we label as laziness often pushes people toward optimization, where they refuse to settle for traditional struggles and instead design paths that save energy. It is also important to note that laziness is closely connected with reflection and observation. People who are not rushing all the time may sit back and watch how things happen, and in that process, they notice patterns and possibilities. Their stillness becomes a form of silent research, allowing them to think differently. This slower pace allows them to question whether a task even needs to be done in the first place, and if it must be done, how it can be executed with the least effort and maximum output. That mindset, rather than being negative, reflects intelligence because it values results over struggle. It challenges the idea that hard work is the only noble path, reminding us that smart work often produces equal or greater success. In relationships and teamwork, lazy people also influence efficiency. They may avoid unnecessary conflicts, avoid overcomplicating matters, and instead look for the simplest way to maintain peace and progress. Their desire for ease becomes a hidden gift in creating harmony. They are not distracted by constant busyness, so they prioritize only what matters most. In many ways, laziness can strip away distractions, leaving space for focus on the essentials. This selective energy helps them conserve strength for the things that truly matter, and while the world may misjudge them, their outcomes speak louder than assumption. What appears as idleness is often a doorway to innovation, because the human mind naturally looks for the easiest way to solve problems when it does not want to exert unnecessary effort. Lazy individuals, rather than wasting energy on long and complicated processes, tend to ask a powerful question: is there a simpler way to do this? That question alone has been the spark behind many of the inventions and methods that change the way people live and work. The drive to avoid extra labor can become a fuel for creativity, leading to tools, ideas, and systems that not only save time for one person, but also create value for many others. When someone labeled as lazy chooses not to follow the crowd, they often challenge the norms and habits that have been followed for years. And by doing so, they open up new paths that others might not see. Take, for instance, technology. The reason we have devices that can perform multiple tasks with just a click is because someone refused to spend endless hours doing things manually. The concept of automation, smart machines, and even simple inventions like the remote control came from the need to make life easier. While others accepted struggle as normal, someone questioned it and asked for efficiency. This habit of asking for the easiest route does not make people weaker, it makes them innovators. Lazy people often prioritize conserving their energy, and that very choice pushes them to think deeply about process, design, and results. Instead of following routines blindly, they refine them, and in that refinement lies progress. In academics or workplaces, we see similar patterns. A person who doesn't want to stay up night after night memorizing information might invent a quicker method of learning or develop visual strategies that allow them to absorb knowledge in half the time. At work, a so-called lazy employee may resist repetitive tasks and instead propose a software solution or a new system that removes unnecessary steps. Their avoidance of hard labor becomes a source of collective benefit because their shortcuts turn into smarter structures for everyone. Their minds are wired to protect energy, and in protecting that energy, they spark breakthroughs that busy individuals may overlook because they are too occupied with the grind. Beyond innovation, laziness also changes perspective. People who do not constantly chase busyness have time to observe, reflect, and analyze situations with clarity. They may come across as slow or detached, but their thinking is often sharper because it is less cluttered. They question whether a task is worth doing at all, and this questioning filters out meaningless actions. In a world that glorifies constant hustle, this approach stands as a reminder that simplicity often leads to power. By rejecting unnecessary difficulty, lazy individuals highlight what truly matters, and by focusing on the essentials, they often achieve more with less. What begins as a search for comfort unexpectedly becomes a path to effectiveness, and what looks like weakness turns into a quiet form of wisdom. In conclusion, lazy people are not always the ones who lack purpose. Rather, they hold a unique ability to simplify, innovate, and redefine the way things are done. Their search for ease often leads to smarter methods, efficient solutions, and creative breakthroughs that hardworking routines may overlook. Laziness, when directed wisely, becomes not a weakness, but a hidden strength that transforms challenges into opportunities.